happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It sounds so echoey in here. I don't know if you guys hear that, but it sounded a bit echoey to me. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. Hope that you're having an absolutely stunning day, a beautiful night, whatever it may be. Hope that it's doing well. We are going to take the first side of Misplaced Childhood. We're going to take this 1985 album side by side. Marillion, we've listened to Jester from the band, and we're going to go ahead and listen to this album from them as well. This has been recommended by many people. I will say that at the forefront of this recommendation race is going to be George Blasco, who has been asking for this album for a years, perhaps? I don't know. But just a long time. So, George, thank you. And another thank you. And then also we have Dave White, we have Mario Burt, John Smith, Ian Coleman, Richard Karbowski. There's a lot of other recommendations as well. John Smith, I see you as well. So thank you all so much for the recommendation. Happy to listen to some more Marillion. Hope that you guys enjoyed them with me. Like I said, today we're going to take the first side of the album. At some point in the future, we'll take the second side of the album. It is a Thursday afternoon. It's 4:48 p.m. I got off work an hour early. And what do I do with my hour? I shower. I don't eat just yet. We listen to some music. That's what we're going to do today. And then afterwards, I got to cook a little bit, whip up some dinner or some supper, get it ready, get it hot, and then serve it up. Not in a pot, but perhaps while lying in a cot. Anyways, get out your pot nut. Let's go ahead and start. For some of you, it's the first time here on the channel, and you're like, this guy. Anyways, let's go ahead and start off with the first track. We'll probably stop every track afterwards. We'll talk about it. We'll go back to catch any transitions that there may be between tracks. But otherwise, let's go ahead and start off with Pseudo Silk Kimono. Ba-boom! And then transitioning into Kaylee. We'll go back, catch the transition. Just need to hear it in its original form. All right, so Pseudo Silk Kimono. Really love that synth and guitar combination. Very epic. Dun, 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 dun. And then Fish is just spitting this little quiet whispery poetry alongside of us. You hear a little bass on the back end near the back of the track. I like that. It's a great setup of very particular ambience. Now, I guess I should have looked this up beforehand. I should have dove into this a little bit. Because this will help me, at least. Misplaced Childhood. It is a concept album loosely based on the childhood of Marillion's lead singer, Fish, who was inspired by a brief incident that occurred while he was under the influence of LSD. Well, LSD will do that to you, I heard. I'll give you some incidences and experiences. So getting into the lyrics of this, like I said, it's just a very nice intro track. Not much to get into musically, but what is there sounds really nice. Huddling in the safety of a pseudo silk kimono, wearing bracelets of smoke, naked of understanding. Nicotine smears, long dried tears, invisible tears. Safe in my own words, learning from my own words. Cruel joke. So the question in the title of the track, Pseudo Silk Kimono, of course, huddled in the safety of this kimono. Who's wearing it? Well, later on he mentioned an orphan of heartbreak, disillusion, and scarred. So perhaps this person in this kimono is a mother figure, I should say, if it's an orphan. Some sort of, what's the word? Like not a host family, but like a mother figure of some sort. Someone that's a caregiver to these children and to this particular orphan. And he feels like a refugee. However, he does say at the end, safe in this sanctuary. Is that sanctuary within that kimono, within the arms and clothing of that mother figure, huddled around him, keeping him warm and safe? Perhaps. And then in the second verse there, it says, a morning mare rides in the starless shutters of my eyes. The spirit of a misplaced childhood is rising to speak his mind to this orphan of heartbreak. So is this, perhaps there's a person on this morning mare? Is this person taking him away from that safety? Or something else going on? I don't know. But I do know that we're going to go ahead and listen to the next track here, which is going to be Kaylee. Let me back it up really quick and we'll kind of catch that transition out of Kimono. And then we'll go ahead and give it a listen. Let's go. I like that. Ooh. Nice snappy drum, I heard. Let's hold her.
Is it too late to say I'm sorry?
I like that.
But you broke mine. Kaylee, just wanna say I'm sorry.
Kaylee, hold on, I can't even go back to Kaylee. There we go. Kaylee. I love the brightness of the guitars during the verse. I love the sidestep action with the drums. I love the keyboards, also very bright in here. Fish sounds really, really good. I love the structure of this song from a low down kind of verse and then slowly gaining momentum into the pre-chorus, into the chorus. Then we get that really nice solo. I'm assuming it's Rothery, right? Am I getting my names right? Yeah, Rothery there. With a really, really nice guitar solo, which, yes, follows the vocal lines at certain points, but then gives an undercurrent of some nice little riffage in there. And then very nice transition, a little bombast, throw it back into the verse, and then it just kind of goes from there. This is a very well-structured song. Very, very pleasantly delivered. Like, this sounds good. And obviously, we haven't gotten far. Like, I don't know, we got a few more tracks to go, and I'm assuming that, I don't know, Heart of Lothian just sounds like it's going to be wild. But I should say, unlike Jester's Tear, this so far has kept things to a little bit more of a conventional kind of path. Not that I'm, obviously, I would assume you guys know it now, not that I'm against any sort of, for lack of a better word, prog tendencies to go out and explore different pathways and break away from the main. This sounds a little bit more conventional. And I really like how compact and direct the music is here. There's nothing coming out of left field that throws off the mood, because this track has a really wonderful mood where I guess lyrically there's a little bit of regret, a little bit of nostalgia, but there's also this kind of looking back with happiness and perhaps even, like I said, the regret of wishing that certain moves were made at certain points. So I really like the feeling of this song. And I think that would be ruined if, there were some left field sections that went into like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So they did a wonderful job with the mood. I really love the bass playing as well, amongst the drums. The bass playing wasn't as like apparent, but I really do like what Chihuahuas is putting down there. Like I said, Fish sounds really good as well. Let's get into these lyrics, in which there seems to be a little bit of depth. Do you remember chalk hearts melting on a playground wall? Do you remember dawn escapes from moon-washed college halls? Do you remember the cherry blossom in the market square? Do you remember I thought it was confetti in our hair? So we're getting kind of a childhood, adolescence, adults, like this sort of maturity, and we're following perhaps these young lovers, you could say. By the way, didn't I break your heart? Please excuse me, I never meant to break your heart. So sorry, I never meant to break your heart, but you broke mine. I like that little dig at the very end. I didn't mean to break your heart, but I'm just saying, you broke mine. Kaylee, is it too late to say I'm sorry? And Kaylee, could we get it together again? I just can't go on pretending that it came to a natural end. See, like, that's what I like there. Like, I can't pretend that our relationship ended naturally. Something happened that caused this. So can we maybe have a second chance at this? Kaylee, I never thought I'd miss you, and Kaylee, I thought we'd always be friends. We said our love would last forever, so how did it come to this bitter end? And then we go back on this nostalgia trip, going into the second verse. Do you remember? Barefoot on the lawn while shooting stars, loving on the floor in Bill Sly's park, dancing in stilettos in the snow. You never understood I had to go. So something happened, obviously. He says he had to go. Who knows what exactly that reason was? It's not explained, and it doesn't really need to be. But regardless, we're kind of getting this missed connection. Well, there was a connection, but something went awry, something went askew, and now he's over here asking for you. I had to find a way to make it rhyme. Anyways, let me see if there's anything on Wikipedia about this. So this is him going through his childhood, as we read about him going on his little LSD trip, going through his childhood. So I would imagine that there's someone in his life, or there was someone in his life, just going by this, that was perhaps a childhood crush, that maybe there was a relationship formed there when they were growing up, and something just went sideways, and they never got to fully realize the relationship perhaps the way that he wanted to. It says here, Several of the songs and titles contain notable autobiographical references. For example, Kaylee references the breakdown of relationships as a whole, but is centered around Fish's past girlfriend named Kay Lee. Not Kaylee, like together, it's Kay Lee. Fish came up with the name Kaylee in order to obscure the original name due to the song being too personal. I gotta say, putting the title as Kaylee, even though the realized person name was Kay Lee, that doesn't sound like obscuring to me. Anyways, let's move ourselves onwards and upwards into the next track here on the album. Hope you guys are having a good time, by the way. That's going to be Lavender. Did I get some lavender body wash? No, I got some. It's peppermint and actually maybe it is lavender. It's peppermint and something, and I like a body wash that gives me like a tingly kind of feel. Let's go ahead and play the last few seconds of Kaylee, and we'll get into Lavender.
Then I heard the children singing. They were running through the rainbows.
Ooh, this album so far has great movement. Like, it's exciting. I love how the guitar just erupts out of his final outcries. A little reverberation on there. I heard that. Okay, so Lavender. This album, I said it, but has really, really great movements. Just very powerful moments packed into subtle packages. There's a lot of explosions. There's a lot of big moments like with Rothery coming out on the guitar, especially here after Fish's outcry just pops up. That's not at all how that sounded. Of course, the slightly darker turn of the piano kind of leading into this before kind of erupting back into a climax. I just think that this album so far has just really great movement. It's very digestible, very easy to listen to. I'm not comparing the album so far necessarily to this song in any way other than it reminds me a little bit of listening to Supper's Ready in the sense that you're getting a lot of different moods, but the transitions are just seamless. Like, they just work really, really well. Also, I'm just going to admit, I'm getting really hot in this room. So I try not to use the fan too much, but it's getting hot. And I'm starting to sweat a little bit, and I don't want you guys to see me sweating. So I'm going to turn the fan on because I need it. All right, lyrics. I was walking in the park. My chair is so... I was walking in the park, dreaming of a spark, when I heard the sprinklers whisper, shimmer. In the haze of summer lawns, then I heard the children singing. They were running through the rainbows. They were singing a song for you. Well, it seemed to be a song for you, the one I wanted to write for you. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When I am king, dilly dilly, you will be queen. So we're kind of getting a continuation also off of the last track with Kaylee in a sense. I would assume so, because this is like the culmination of his regrets and this realization that, man, I really want to enjoy perhaps this life with her, this romance with her. And he starts kind of singing to himself, lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green, and then he says dilly dilly. And when I think of someone singing dilly dilly, I'm thinking they're just singing with unabashed joy. They're just gleefully happy. They're skipping through the meadows. They're just don't have a care in the world. They are just dilly 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 dilly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just all smiles, all joy inside of them. So I kind of feel like with that realization, that's what he's kind of feeling. Now, I have a theory. And this is deep. This is deep lore. This is not canon. This is me just theory crafting here. This is probably wrong, but it's fun to, like, dig a little bit. So in the lyrics he says, as he's walking this park and the sprinklers are going and he hears the hissing of the summer lawns, he says, then I heard the children singing. They were running through rainbows. They were singing a song for you. Well, it seemed to be a song for you, the one I wanted to write for you. So these children are singing, and he catches this sort of inspiration. And he says, these children are singing the song that I wanted to write for you. It could be just love, right? Yeah, it's just that feeling. I'm taking a step and I'm taking a leap. Could it be that he's reminded of her and this song by the children because perhaps he envisioned a future in which he had children with this person? Could just be a spark. Could just be a spark. Could be. Could be. Anyways, let's move our... I know it's a theory craft, but let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be Bittersweet, which is spelled out as bitter and then sweet as in music or a luxury hotel room of sorts. Anyways, we're going to let the last few seconds of Lavender play. So let's go. A lot of tap dancing on the hi-hat here. I like that. I approve. I like these synths.
But the poor
The hi-hat sounds like a spider kind
mist
of
crawls from the
skidding.
canal like
Skimming.
some primordial.
Woo! Oh, I love that. I mean, I can hear your heart. Oh, yeah, it's right there. I know my French. Not really. A deep note to bring you in. Okay, before we get into Heart of Lothian, Bittersweet. It's the longest track so far on the album. What, 7 minutes or so seconds? And they don't miss a step. No misstep in this Misplaced Childhood. I love the intro. Very moody. You have some prose spit by Fish, but even before that, what I love is that ambience that's built up underneath, and then you really have Ian Mosley, who is on the drums and percussion, and you really get a moment to shine with him there. He really allows that atmosphere not only to just breathe on its own, because he still allows space, but he's constantly throwing in whether quick rolls and quick fills, and then the skittering, scattering on the hi-hat there, which I really love how that sets up the rhythm for the rest of that particular section of the song. And what I thought was really cool is at that moment, hold on, lyrically, he says, a spider wanders aimlessly within the warmth of a shadow. Before you even go any further, just because of the way that Ian's playing the drums there on the hi-hat, you kind of feel like that, like, I don't know, like, you know, a spider, like how they kind of skitter, you know, and you hear that on the hi-hat. Like, it's just a really great way of kind of bringing this spider metaphorically to life there on the drums. I just thought that was a really cool touch. And then the music does this really, really, once again, great organic growth as it builds from that into these bigger moments. But then there's this deep sadness underneath everything, but at the same time it's very powerful. There's a dramatic flair in here that's completely different from Jester's Tear. And to an extent, I kind of prefer this. There's a different kind of heart involved in this music. Like, obviously, because it's kind of autobiographical for Fish, so there is a different kind of heart here, but it just feels different. And I love the way that the music moves. There's a section, I think it was about 6 minutes in, that I really, really enjoyed. When they kind of come down off of the big climaxes, I want to say it's about 6 minutes or so.
It's getting late.
Not quite there. No, before that. Before that. Well, I don't know where it is. But it was somewhere in there that they bring the music back down. And I did mention one part I really enjoyed was the piano playing and the bass playing specifically as they get down towards near the end of the track. That's going to be Mark Kelly and then Pete Trewavas on there. Sorry if I mispronounce his name. It's a really cool name. I just mess up with R's, W's, V's sometimes. This track is broken down into several parts, which makes sense as it is the Bittersweet. Get it? So the 5 tracks here, or the 5 parts of Bittersweet, are Brief Encounter, Lost Weekend, Blue Angel, Misplaced Rendezvous, and then Windswept Thumb. So let's actually get into these lyrics a little bit. So under Brief Encounter, a spider wanders aimlessly within the warmth of a shadow. Not the regal creature of border caves, but the poor misguided directionless familiar of some obscure Scottish poet. The mist crawls from a canal like some primordial phantom of romance to curl under a cascade of neon pollen, while I sit tied to the phone like an expectant father. Your carnation will rot in a vase. So, I feel like he may be describing himself after, in a sense, being romantically rejected. He even says, while I sit to the phone like an expectant father, your carnation will rot in a vase, like the flower that was perhaps given to him by her is now rotting in the vase, like their romance just wilted and done. And then moving into Lost Weekend, I think we're kind of getting a different perspective, like a shift in perspective. A train sleeps in a siding, the driver guzzles another can of lager. to wash away the memories of a Friday night down at the club. She was a wallflower at 16. She'll be a wallflower at 34. Her mother called her beautiful. Her daddy said a whore. So, first of all, we did switch perspectives because now we're talking about a different person. Is this Kaylee or is this a completely different woman? I'm not sure. However, I thought that a wallflower just meant someone that, like, was kind of introverted. Like, they didn't really want to be the center of attention, hence they stuck to the wall. I thought that was kind of a good thing. I don't know, but maybe not. I guess not. Her daddy apparently has some words for her, which isn't very nice at all. Then the next section, Blue Angel. The sky was Bible black in Leon when I met the Magdalene. She was paralyzed in a streetlight. She refused to give her name, and a ring of violent bruises they were pinned upon her arm. So I'm feeling like these are now these two characters, Fish, whether it's actually him or, you know, at least a character based on him, and then this woman that we spoke about previously. 200 francs for sanctuary, and she led me by the hand to a room of dancing shadows where all the heartache disappears. And from glowing tongues of candles, I heard her whisper in my ear, J'attends ton cœur, which I think is close. However, I did realize that it meant I hear your heart. I promise I didn't see the line after it. I promise. Hear your heart, I hear your heart. So, could be a prostitute, right? Which I guess would kind of lend itself to why her daddy called her what he did. Even that's still not nice, and he shouldn't be doing that. And perhaps he's visiting her in order to ease his pain of being rejected from Kaylee. I don't know. I don't know how much this story is supposed to flow. I'm just kind of guessing. The next part, Misplaced Rendezvous. It's getting late for scribbling and scratching on the paper. Something's got to give under the pressure. The cracks are already beginning to show. It's too late. The weekend career girl never boarded the plane. They said this would never happen again. This time it seems to be another misplaced rendezvous. This time it's looking like another misplaced rendezvous. So I think this is once again shifting perspective to the girl. I think. I don't know. Windswept thumb. On the outskirts of nowhere, on the ring road to somewhere, on the verge of indecision, I'll take the roundabout way. Waiting on the rain, for I was born with a habit from a sign. The habit of a windswept thumb, the sign of the rain. Rain on me, rain. It's starting, or it started raining. Well, if you're caught in the rain, it's kind of like you're caught in indecision. You're caught in the middle of something. You're caught in a hard place, perhaps in a dark and depressed place and state. And that's why he's perhaps saying why he's caught in the rain. I'm just guessing that a windswept thumb is like hitchhiking, like you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you need a ride. I could be completely wrong. I guess I could check the Wikipedia to kind of catch myself up on where we are here on the story, possibly. Let's see. It says, well, I actually don't see anything for this particular track, so that doesn't help me at all. Let's go ahead then and just move on into the next track. Let's move on into Heart of Lothian. Lothian? Lothian. One of you correct me. Let's go. Let me find it here real quick. I think you hear the first side of this album, and you come away incredibly satisfied, very impressed. At least I did. I'm speaking for myself here. I think that this particular track features some of Fish's best singing, especially that climactic moment when he's just repeating, "I was born with a heart of Lothian." I forgot already how he said it. I already forgot. But just the power, of course, backed up by everyone else in there, Mark Kelly, Rothery, like especially that melodic combination, like that is just incredibly powerful. But the way that he's singing, especially the way he kind of gives a little spice, a little warble on that second line when he says it, it feels really good. And then like this track is also broken up into two parts, by the way. The first is Wide Boy, not like white, like the color, but like wide, like wide. And then the second part is Curtain Call, which of course kind of brings down everything to a little bit more introspective. Even the last line, and the man in the mirror has sad eyes. You know, very, very reflective. Also because he's looking in a mirror. But Wide Boy, actually kicks off very energetic. I think it started off with the 7/8 groove, then it flipped into something else, and then it settled back down somewhere. I couldn't, I don't know, it went kind of fast. But either way, I like how exciting and excitable that section felt, especially before it got into that very big climactic Heart of Lothian section. Just a really, really great first side of the album. Like I said, very different to me, at least, than Jester's Cheer, but thoroughly exciting. Did I say that? Thoroughly satisfying. That's what I meant to say. Anyways, Wide Boys, Born with Hearts of Lothian. Wide Boys, Born with Hearts of Lothian. First, I got to find out what is Lothian, or who is Lothian. I'm looking at it right now. It says Lothian is a region of the Scottish lowlands, lying between the southern shore of the Firth of Forth and the Lammermuir Hills. Okay, so it's a place. We were Wide Boys, Born with Hearts of Lothian. It's 6 o'clock and the tower blocks stalagmites of culture shock. And the trippers of the light fantastic bow down, hoe down, spray their pheromones on this perfume uniform. And anarchy smiles on the Royal Mile, and we're waiting on the Sly Boys, Fly Boys, Wide Boys, rootin' tootin' cowboys. Lucky little ladies at the watering holes, they'll score the Friday night goals. It sounds like it's just people waiting to go to a party or something. It sounds like to me it's a Friday night and everybody's going to meet at the club and score their Friday night goals. And then, of course, I was born with the Heart of Lothian. I think it's perhaps just pride in I don't know, I would assume that Fish has some connection to this region. Hence why he's saying with such pride, I was born with the Heart of Lothian. I would just assume. And then the final part, curtain call. And the man from the magazine wants another shot of you all curled up because you look like an actor in a movie shot, but you're feeling like a wino in a parking lot. So you're looking good, but you're not feeling great. How did I get in here anyway? Do we really need a playback of the show? Because the wide boy wants to head for the watering hole. Let's go. And the man in the mirror has sad eyes. That part kind of throws me off a little bit. I understand, like, you're looking good, but you're not feeling good. I get that. And who's this man from the magazine? Is this figurative? And he wants another shot of you all curled up. Like, when I think of someone curled up, that's either in pain or sadness. But he wants another shot of you doing that. And then the question's even asked, do I really need to play back, or do we really need to play back of the show? Do I really need to put myself back in that particular headspace or place just for your shot? I'm not quite sure what's happening there, but I like the music. I like what's being said and what's happening. So please let me know what you guys thought of the first side of Misplaced Childhood. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed listening to the music alongside me. Of course, before you leave, if you don't mind pressing the like button, you could also subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support my channel, what I do, here on Patreon as well. Not here on Patreon, over on Patreon. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for being here, guys, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.